am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter where you go, no matter where you've been, you'll never walk alone. I feel you deep within.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love.
No matter what you feel or what you choose to show, I'm always there for you, and so I want you to know.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love.
I walk the path with you. Go slow, dear one, don't hurry. I'll go just like you need to go. There is no need to worry. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sound. Let there be tears. Let there be fear and fancy. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. Let there be darkness. Let there be sun rising. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit made, grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Spirits made, love has made, grace has made a place for you where everything is new.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair. My name is Michael Gilch. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm filling in for Marcus this week as your music director. Helping me lead hymns this week is Paul Lombardo on vocals and later on bass, Sam Schumann on guitar and violin, and later Dan Silver as well. Thank you to all of us joining here in the sanctuary and to all of you watching online. Please join us for our opening hymn, number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. Join us in our next opening hymn, number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness.
Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever age, ability, history, identity, gender, or sexual orientation, you are welcome to bring your full self here. I'm Dionne Ford, she, her, hers. Grounded in faith, we come together to nurture the soul, inspire hope, and bring into being a more just and loving world. Today's service is inspired by What is Truth, a song by country music legend Johnny Cash in 1970 to share his newfound truth that the Vietnam War was a mistake, and he needed to help end it. Inspired by Cash, together we will explore notions of truth, how we build it, how we proclaim, how we recognize it. We're so glad to gather together in person and with all who are joining us virtually. We are a community knit together across time and space. We are a community learning what it means to gather in new and multiple ways. Our services in August are single services at 10 a.m. Registration for attendance is required, though we will endeavor to make space for all of our guests. We are maintaining social distance, and all are required to be masked. On September 12th, we will return to services at 9:30 a.m. and 11:15 every Sunday. The 9:30 a.m. service will require registration, will maintain social distancing, and will not include congregational singing. The 11:15 service will not require registration and will look and feel much like our services did pre-pandemic. On the Sundays of September 12th and 19th, we will have a Welcome Fest with activities and opportunities for connection throughout our facility and on our lawn. Ours is a covenantal community. This means that while we do not share common beliefs, we share a common covenant, a commitment to come together in service of the beloved community. Let's light our chalice as we share our chalice lighting affirmation. Let us open our senses to take in the beauty. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. And let us open our hearts to love one another.
Hello and good morning. I'm Rev Anya Samler-Michael, she, her, hers. So good to be with you here in person and virtually. Dionne Ford and I have a story to tell you from the Zen Buddhist tradition. It's called Your Teacup is Full, so empty your cup. Once, a long time ago, there was a wise Zen master. People from far and near would seek his counsel, ask for his wisdom. Many would come and ask him to teach them, enlighten them in the way of Zen. He seldom turned anyone away. One day, an important person, a person used to commanding, and a person used to obedience, came to visit the master.
I have come today to ask you to teach me the truth about Zen. Open my mind to enlightenment.
The tone of the important person's voice was one used to getting their own way. The Zen master smiled and said that they should discuss the matter over a cup of tea. When the tea was served, the master poured the visitor a cup, poured, and then poured, and then poured and poured, and the tea rose to the rim and began to spill over the table and finally onto the robes of this wealthy man. Finally, the visitor shouted,
"You're spilling the tea all over. Can't you see the cup is full?"
The master stopped pouring and smiled at the guest. You see, you are like this cup of tea, so full of half-truths that nothing more can be added. Come back to me when the cup is empty. Come back to me with an empty mind. Now, Dionne is nothing like the visitor in this story, but she did a beautiful job portraying the pompousness that inhibits enlightenment. So what did we learn? Enlightenment doesn't begin with a full cup with a lot of ideas, opinions, certainties. It begins with a willingness to let go in the search of truth. So how do we keep the nonsense of the world from clouding our minds? We empty our cups. We empty our cups.
May it be so for all of us.
Continue with me now in this spirit of meditation, of remembrance, called to find depth in our days and reverence in this hour. We seek a gentle meditation, a focused reflection, an ardent prayer, each as we are called, and yet all together. And we enter into this space by hearing the lamentations, the requests, and the remembrances of our community. Let us hear one another to heal one another. We light this first candle to lament the disparity in the availability of the COVID-19 vaccine globally. May we, with capacity and conviction, do what we can to ensure that health is not dependent on financial privilege. And we light this next candle for Juliana and Paul's dear friend, Lauren, and her newborn child, Yiva. After a difficult birth, both mother and child are healing. May their health continue to improve. May Yiva come out of the NICU. May they be well. And we light this final candle for the joys, the sorrows, the remembrances that have not been spoken aloud. And I invite us into a space of shared silence. May this silence hold us as we hold it together. May our listening in this sacred hour inspire us to acts of love. And will you continue with me now in a spirit of prayer? Spirit of life, God of our understanding, we are climbing. We are climbing. And we are holding on. Rest, rest that meets our restlessness. We are stretching and straining and working to hold on. Solidity that grounds our chaos. We are affecting change after change in this new and developing world in what is again an uncertain time. Help us to breathe. Help us to breathe through it. Help us to feel the solidity under our feet and in our relationships with one another. Help us to see one another face to face and to not look through one another, but to be present, present to those around us, those dear to us. Help us to love. Help us to love one another through all of these challenges and changes. Help us to find the love that holds us, that never lets us go, so that we might love ourselves and one another, to love through all of these challenges and changes. Help us to keep moving closer to the beloved community, to continue through all of it, to find the courage to commit and to recommit ourselves to that vision of community that has never been, but might still be. Help us to climb through and out of this uncertainty. Help us. Help us. We are held, and we have never been let go. Amen. Our prayer response is, we are climbing Jacob's ladder. You're welcome to remain seated and to join us in this song.
we are climbing on. If I stumble, will you help me? If I stumble, will you help me? If I stumble, will you help me? We are climbing on. Though the road is steep and rugged, though the road is steep and rugged, though the road is steep and rugged, we are climbing on.
Good morning. I'm Rev Scott, Samler, Michael, he, him, his. It is a distinct pleasure, beyond measure, I might add, to be here in person with you all. Thanks for being here, and thanks for joining us at home. Here at the UU congregation of Montclair, we seek to share our blessings. 80% of what you offer will care for our congregation, and the rest supports our outreach offering recipient, which for August and September is Isaiah House. Located in East Orange, Isaiah House reduces the occurrence of homelessness, hunger, and unemployment with residential and community programs. Shelter programs serve teenage youth, disabled single women, women living with HIV and AIDS, and more. And over 60% of the families served have successfully relocated to permanent housing. You can text 73256 to give, and then use the prompts that you'll receive on your phone to make your donation, or if you're with us in person, place your gift in the offering basket. Remember those? All of your gifts are worthy. They are all received with love.
Cherish your doubts, for doubt is the attendant of truth. Doubt is the key to the door of knowledge. It is the servant of discovery. A belief which may not be questioned binds us to error, for there is incompleteness and imperfection in every belief. Doubt is the touchstone of truth. It is an acid which eats away the false. Let no one fear the truth, that doubt may consume it, for doubt is a testing of belief. The truth stands boldly and unafraid. It is not shaken by the testing. For truth, if it be truth, arises from each testing stronger, more secure. Those that would silence doubt are filled with fear. Their houses are built on shifting sands. But those who fear not doubt and know its use are founded on rock. They shall walk in the light of growing knowledge. The work of their hands shall endure. Therefore, let us not fear doubt, but let us rejoice in its help. It is to be the wise as a staff to the blind. Doubt is the attendant of truth.
3.
And the lonely voice of youth cries, what is truth? The old man turned off the radio, said, where did all the old songs go? Kids sure play funny music these days. They play it in the strangest ways. Said it looks to me like they've all gone wild. It was peaceful back when I was a child. Man, could it be that the girls and boys are trying to be heard above your noise? And the lonely voice of truth, youth cries, what is truth? A little boy of 3 sitting on the floor looks up and says, Daddy, what is war? Son, that's when people fight and die. Little boy of 3 says, Daddy, why? A young man of 17 in Sunday school being taught the golden rule. By the time another year has gone round, maybe his turn to lay his life down. Can you blame the voice of youth for asking, what is truth? A young man sitting on the witness stand. The man with the book says, raise your hand. Repeat after me, I solemnly swear. The man looked down at his long hair. And although the young man solemnly swore, nobody seems to hear anymore. Did it really matter if the truth was there? It was the cut of his clothes and the length of his hair. And the lonely voice of youth cries, what is truth? A young girl dancing to the latest beat has found new ways to move her feet. A young man speaking in the city square might be trying to say that he really cares. Yeah, the ones that you are calling wild are gonna be leaders in a little while. The old world's waking to a newborn day, and I solemnly swear it'll be their way. We better help the voice of youth find what is truth. And the lonely voice of youth cries, what is truth?
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, band. Be careful if I send you a text after reading an article in the middle of the night. I might ask you to come do something like I did Dan today. Thank you. And the lonely voice of youth cries, what is truth? I loved Johnny Cash as a kid. I played my dad's Johnny Cash records more often than I played his Beatles records. Johnny Cash sang songs of compassion for working people, for the incarcerated, for rail yard workers, for loggers, for all those our society leaves behind. Cash wove a homespun version of the social gospel, that belief that our religious duty lies in caring for the least among us, in nurturing the social fabric of our communities. And when Cash released What is Truth in 1971, that social gospel expanded to include a critique of the Vietnam War. Michael Stewart Foley, author of Citizen Cash, described Cash's social gospel this way. Cash blends a countercultural theology of seeing God in nature with a message of saving the social order through love and charity. He sees God in the way honeybees guide a bear to feed his hunger, but God also lives in those who lifts the beggar up or tends to the abandoned child. One can find the holy in themselves if only they extend their care and concern to others. And rather than try to save one soul at a time, Cash pressed his fellow citizens and his fellow Christians to meet their civic and Christian responsibility, to lift up those left behind in times of fear and want. Johnny Cash was born in Arkansas during the Great Depression. His empathy enables an encounter with truth. Before 1970, Cash chose not to speak out against the war in Vietnam. Deeply concerned for the troops and their families, he kept his reservations about the Vietnam War to himself. But then the United States invaded Cambodia. And then 4 young anti-war protesters were killed by National Guard troops at Kent State. And Johnny Cash realized silence was complicity. By publicly opposing the Vietnam War, Johnny Cash was not acting in self-interest. He was too old to be drafted. He had no kids in uniform. His empathy could not bear for people to lose loved ones, for human life to be so devoted to senseless death. Long on feeling and empathy and short on ideology and partisanship, Cash's social gospel expected more from his fellow Christians. Cash was deeply saddened by the destruction wrought on lives, families, and our social fabric by our involvement in a war that few understood, whose terms of engagement were disproportional. And he learned that American aggression in Vietnam was not ignited by anything the Vietnamese people had done to us. He learned the reason we were fighting was to show American power and resolve to foes like Russia and China. Already a vocal advocate for unions and for prison reform, Johnny Cash held his tongue no longer. Knowing he might lose millions of fans, Cash followed the dictates of his conscience, and he wrote the song that Dan Silver just sang for us. This song, from the album Man in Black, is credited with helping turn Middle America in favor of ending that war. What is truth? Johnny Cash, yes, was following his particular vision of the social gospel. He saw what war was doing to families and to young people, not only here in the U.S., but in Vietnam. He knew it was not only bad public policy, but as a devout Christian, Johnny Cash knew it was unholy to demand that an entire generation be asked to focus on a senseless war. He intuited that no gospel is good if it is not social. And war is the ultimate disruptor of our social fabric. The truth resonates, rings as truest when it proclaims the common good. Human beings are inherently good, yes, but wow, it takes work for us to act on our best impulses, does it not? As our Time for All Ages reminded us, sometimes there's just too much nonsense clouding our reasoning, and the truth has difficulty emerging and inspiring. The Vietnam War, which was ever present in my growing up. I was 8 in 1970. The Vietnam War was an episode in our history that tested us as a society. Just what is it we call truth?
It forced us to ask, what are our duties to one another as citizens, as human beings, as seekers and protectors of truth? And today, are we not confronted with other opportunities to engage those same questions? Consider the events of January 6th, when a group of violent supporters of the former president, aided by a couple in Congress and by some in law enforcement, stormed the U.S. Capitol in hopes of stopping the certification of the 2020 election. In this worst attack on our capital since the British invasion of 1814, right-wing pundits and politicians demonstrated once again their disdain for the will of the people, fanning the flames of infamy to attempt a coup. We've all seen the footage, have we not? Traitors shouting racist slogans, flying banners of a demagogue, sacking the people's house. They reminded us just how fragile our social fabric really is. This very moment, insurrection apologists are already trying to revise the story of this worst act of treason since the Civil War. But the simple truth, January 6th was an attempted coup by a mob incited by a former president for the purpose of remaining in power against the expressed will of the people. And Johnny Cash would surely have written a song protesting that. It didn't matter that the truth was there. It was the cut of his clothes and the length of his hair. January 6th reminded us that a large portion of American citizens sadly do not believe in some of the fundamentals of our social contract. That the people should decide who their leaders should be. And this hateful disregard that they showed for anyone who does not look or love or walk or pray or speak like they do was on full display. And we are left grappling with fundamental questions about why some refuse to understand the plain truth that January 6th was an assault on the common good, and that, by definition, is an act of evil. The world's religions show that concern for the common good is the signal emblazoned on the most sublime truths. And as Unitarian Universalists, we're challenged in our third source to learn from the wisdom of those world religions. For instance, Islam demands that one give away at least 7% of one's wealth each year to help the poor. Judaism requires that farmers leave crops in the field so the poor may eat. It also requires generous charity. Buddhism teaches that right speech, right conduct, right livelihood, all concerned with how we relate to others, that these shine as the hallmarks of an authentic spiritual life. Hinduism reminds us that we approach perfection very slowly. So our lives must be oriented to truth and compassion. Declaring that a moral calculus is taken of our actions, Hinduism teaches that our duties are primarily to one another, since we all have a spark of divinity living within us. Christianity, properly viewed, is primarily concerned with how we treat one another, how the social fabric embraces the least among us. This concept, which we often refer to as the beloved community, is poignantly explained by a liberal Baptist minister known as Walter Rauschenbusch in the early 20th century. In a text I'm actually going to teach this fall, The Theology of the Social Gospel, Rauschenbusch reviews many of the Christian saints throughout history, and he simply reminds us that they were driven and made saints because of their concern for others. And Rauschenbusch suggests in response that the saint of the future will need not only a divine-centered way to conceive of the holy, but a human-centered way to embrace fellow human beings as expressions of divine love. There is no divinity, he says, without a conscious outlook towards humanity, aimed at transforming the social causes of misery, poverty, despair, and violence. Rauschenbusch mirrors Johnny Cash by proclaiming as holy truth our duty to alleviate human suffering. This old world's waking to a newborn day. The reading that Dionne shared with us comes from a 20th century Unitarian, Robert Terry Weston. Weston proclaims that doubt is the attendant of truth. In the midst of a responsible search for truth and meaning, doubt provokes us to dig deeper, to question further, to discover how we can learn more of truth's rich complexity. As any good scientist welcomes results that do not cohere to their hypothesis, our serious quest for truth is improved when we discover and follow our doubt, discovering a more complete rendering of reality. But many today seem worried that truth is under siege. In an age when so-called leaders tout alternative facts, when destructive forces spread disinformation about things as common sense as vaccine or the wearing of a mask to stop a pandemic, I understand that people may begin to fear doubt. But rest assured, those things are not doubt. They are falsehood and they are treachery. It is not a search for truth that informs this nonsense, but a lust for power and dominion, the deliberate spreading of disinformation for the sake of greed and conquest. Doubt is a divine gift. Lies, implements of destruction. So how do we tell the difference, Rev Scott? Unitarian Universalist notions of truth are based in part on Enlightenment philosopher John Locke. And Locke separates knowledge, those correct notions of how the world is, from wisdom, how we judge what is right to do, from the understanding, which is the process of how we receive and construct our notions about the world. We learned in the time for all ages, it's difficult to receive and process the truth before us when our minds and hearts are filled with pride or distractions or an urgent desire to show allegiance to a party, a point of view, or an individual. Locke teaches that our understanding, that which helps us compose our proclamations, it's aided by practice. It's aided by a discipline of entertaining doubt intelligently and by creatively employing our reason to compose our claims of truth. And Locke also warns us against listening only to sources that are like us, listening to the channels we know won't challenge us, those things that share only our situation or point of view. He famously proclaims diversity is required for correct thinking. We cannot understand what we have not entertained. The mind loves to know, but it needs to be trained to distinguish truth from nonsense. And amid all this talk of truth, some may wonder, why are so many today eager to embrace conspiracy theories? Perhaps there's a slice of human nature that loves to know things other people do not know, to possess new or special knowledge, right? We see this in the joy of saying, I have a secret, right? or discovering a new band your friends have never heard, or finding that new author or that new podcast, being the one who knows how to fix things. All these are echoes of a natural tendency that is abscessing in the recent explosion of conspiracy theories, whether those theories are about QAnon or vaccines. And sadly, this desire for secret knowledge has been worsened over the ages by religions. Over the years, some religious mystics have claimed that only by rejecting the world and focusing on a personal relationship with God may I actually find truth and salvation. The Gnostics of many faiths suggest still that there's certain special knowledge that most of you all can't understand, but we know. And these reveal deeper truths, but we'll control who gets to see them. This elitist impulse comes out of that desire to know things others do not know, but when obsessed, it sows seeds for this conspiracy theory nonsense. And it's all made worse in our age of online disinformation. So, the test for truth? Well, if a worldview requires initiations, secret knowledge, allegiance to a small cadre of cohorts, or the need to lie about who you are or what you do, you may not be there yet. As the world's religions teach, concern for others is a primary spiritual value. And the lonely voice of youth, and indeed all of our voices, cry, what is truth? Truth proves to be a lifelong quest, informed by our serious effort to encounter new points of view and experiences, enabled by clearing out the nonsense of the world from our awareness and our focus. Truth, it takes training, hard work, testing by sharing our findings together, and a willingness to go back to the drawing board when we find out we were mistaken. Humility points to truth. Empathy constitutes the larger truth. Diversity enriches truth. Accountability clarifies truth. If it is not other-focused, it is not truth. If it does not build a better world for all, it is not truth. If it does not hold wrongdoers accountable, it is not truth. If it denies the humanity of entire classes of human beings, it is not truth. If it does not inspire a duty to do something larger than satisfy our desires or provide ourselves comfort, it's not truth. Amen. Will you reflect with me? How do we keep the world from clouding our minds with nonsense so we can remain open to new revelations of truth?
Please join us in our closing hymn, It Sounds Along the Ages, number 187.
It sounds along the ages, soul entering to soul. It kindles on the pages of every Bible scroll. The promised burden peace I pray, the oracles of concord, one holy word declare. It calls and lo, new justice, it speaks and lo, new truth. In ever nobler stature and unexhausted youth, forever on resounding and knowing not of time, our laws but catch the music of its eternal chime.
So thank you, Johnny Cash, for your social gospel message, for letting us know that there are many different ways to think about those less fortunate than ourselves. Walter Rauschenbusch, who writes extensively about the social gospel, shares this: the holy made us for one another. Our highest perfection comes not from isolation, but from love, because humility points to truth. Empathy constitutes the larger part of truth. So keep that nonsense out of your awareness so the truth can enter and set you and all of us free, so the lonely voice of youth can more easily know what is truth. Please join us in singing as we extinguish our chalice flame.
Our worship has ended, let our service begin. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love.
And as you are moved, we welcome you to come forward and greet those of us who have been here helping to lead today's service. We will be here right in the front where there's enough room for us to social distance. We welcome you to come forward down the center aisle and then walk back up the side aisles. It has been a joy sharing worship with you here and with you online.
And let's have some praise for the folks working hard in the booth.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter where you go, no matter where you've been, you'll never walk alone. I feel you deep within.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love.
No matter what you feel or what you choose to show, I'm always there for you, and so I want you to know.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you. hold you in love.
I walk the path with you. Go slow, dear one, don't hurry. I'll go just like you need to go. There is no need to worry. I am sending you, Lord, to heal, to hold you. I am sending you, light, to hold you in love. I am sending you, light, to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you, light, to hold you in love. I am sending you, light, to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you, light, to hold you in love. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sound. Let there be tears. Let there be fear and fancy. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. Let there be darkness. Let there be sun rising. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. Let there be light. Let there be hope shining. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit made a place place for you where everything is new. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit made, grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Spirits made, love has made, grace has made a place for you where everything is new.